Hey, Shalom, Shalom on the start of souls, but giving no praise to Yahweh, but Hashem Yahushua, but Hashem Kakodash, that belongs to the apostles of GMS and honor to brothers doing the work of the Most High in truth and sincerity. This is gonna be a quick one. Just some information really. This one, there's something that just keeps coming up. Thought I'd do a video on it. So basically, this is on this idea of say like an internet kill switch or whatever, what have you. It's something that I've been thinking of because it's kind of the field that I'm in. In that, you can have a kill switch per se, but really, what E has done, what the way E has basically set up cloud computing, the cloud infrastructure, is you really have three companies running it. So for instance, just the other day, Amazon had an issue, right? Which that's where you see their AWS Amazon Web Services. Amazon had an issue, and websites that were basically were in the cloud for the eastern part of the US, right? Because basically the way Amazon works is you've got Amazon in the west. So in the east, sorry, so like a data center in say New York. You've got Amazon in the middle of America, Amazon in the west of America. You've got Amazon in Ireland, Amazon in London, and then throughout the world, etc., etc., etc. Right, basically meaning that people who make websites can say, actually, most of my customers are in, for instance, in the UK. So actually, there's no point me having my system running in the cloud in America because then obviously the data has to be transferred from America to London, right? So what you end up having is one basic major company running loads of smaller data centers, if you will, right? However, if you end up in a situation where Amazon has a top level issue, right? So, like I said, everything is distributed. Like, so you got one in the east of America, one in the no, a couple in the east, couple in the middle, couple in the west, right? And then they're all supposedly independent of each other. However, if you end up having a top level issue, then all of that service goes down. Now you then ask yourself, wait, just how much of the internet does these companies basically account for, right? So I basically found the best data that I could, and it goes into how much they made this, that, and the other, right? But then we go down to here. It says 2018 versus 2019 market share. When we originally published this blog last year, we included a market share breakdown from analyst Canalys, which reported AWS in the lead, owning about a third of the market, Microsoft second with about 15%, and Google sitting around 5%. This year, they report an overall growth in the cloud infrastructure market of 42%, right? It says by provider AWS had the biggest sales gain with $2.3 billion dollars year on year, right? And then actually, no, there was another one here. I'm just trying to find it. He's just trying to pick the most relevant information from the articles. Oh, yeah, here we go. Right, it says others have made their own estimates in November, so this would have been November 2018, right? A Goldman Sachs report stated that AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and Alibaba could make up 56% of the total cloud market, right? With that projected to grow to 84% this year, so that would have been 84%. Would you call it at the end of 2019, right? The report shows AWS so far in the lead with 47% of the market projected for this year, with Azure and Google trading at 22% and 8% market share, respectively. So basically, what they're saying here is, Goldman were projecting, I don't know whether that actually happened, but basically, they're projecting that basically most of the internet was either going to be in AWS, on Azure, on Google Cloud Platform, or Alibaba Cloud, right? So four companies ultimately running, as pursuant to Goldman Sachs estimates, 84% of the internet, right? Now, if you would you call it, if you attack AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, Alibaba, or there's a top level failure in any of those top, four companies, then you wipe out large swathes of the internet. Gone. You think about Netflix, you ain't watching no Netflix. You think about Google, you can't Google shit, right? All of it gone. And what it also means is if you want to pull the plug, really, you just go to four different companies, you tell them to pull the plug, right? And that's not even, touching on like government level blocks either. Okay. So it'll be easy for this man to shut this internet off. Like I said, I haven't really got much. So I'm just gonna end with one precept here because ultimately we know that these things are coming, right? He's gonna create a scenario and from that scenario say, look, we can't have people just going on the internet willy-nilly, this, that, and the other. He's gonna pull the plug, right? Especially on these social media. That's probably gonna be one of the first things to go. Right? Or it's going to become like a China style system where everything's monitored, right? Which really, to be fair, already is. You could argue that China is just one of the, playgrounds, one of the test centers for this new world order. This is Amos 8:11 says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh." Right, and these are the days that we're coming up to, right? The internet, as we know, is going to get shut down, right? And as we just see, really, all you have to do is go to four companies and tell them to shut it down. Or if there's a cyber attack on AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, you wipe out 56% of the total cloud market. And then no more bye-bye internet. You might be able to access the odd random site, but how would you even get to it if you can't Google it, if you can't Bing it, if you can't Yahoo it? Right, and even on top of that, there are other layers, because that's another one point that I wanted to touch on as well. Because when we say the internet, right, people say, "Oh, Tim Berners-Lee invented, the internet." Well, we one thing to understand is the internet is a set of infrastructure, right? Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web. So when you type in, HTTPS google.com, that is what he made, right? So the internet is broken down into several different protocols, right? Which one of them is HTTP, right? Which is basically your, where you get your web browsing from. But then your email, that is also a protocol as well. That is also part of the internet, right? You got SMTP. I forgot what that stands for, and I believe you could also got POP as well, and IMAP, right? All of these different protocols. So the internet isn't just one thing. The internet is an infrastructure, right? Like I said, that's just a point that I want to make as well, right? Before because I remember one time a guy came up to the camp and was speaking about the internet. It was like, "Oh, but Tim Berners-Lee invented the internet." It was like, actually, no, the internet's got a large and long history, right? Because let's not forget that the internet was made by DARPA, right? And in fact, it's made by three different companies, and then they all merged their three different organizations, and they all merged their understanding together to basically end up with what we call the internet today. So like I said, it was more information. This one, like I said, if this is your kind of thing, you Google it, see what you can find. But like I said, I just wanted to do a top level kind of talk on this particular thing here. So as always, Lord's Lord, I was edifying. Till the next time, Shalom.